And welcome to Ducks Know Sports. This week, we're previewing Week 4 of the CFL season. Should be a good one. You're starting to see now a lot of teams around the CFL. Like to see who is really the contenders from the pretenders. It's really been a good season so far, and I expect Week 4 to be just as good. But our first match of the week is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers traveling to Toronto to take on the Toronto Argonauts. Well, Winnipeg took a huge blow last week as they got their ass kicked again and losing their starting quarterback in Buck Pierce. We're going to go with Alex Brink, and it looks like Buck Pierce could be out for a while. And to me, I don't think it's the worst thing to happen to the Blue Bombers. I mean, I thought in the offseason they should have cut their ties with Buck Pierce. Not a big Buck Pierce fan, but I'm a big Alex Brink fan. I really think Alex Brink is the next great quarterback of the CFL. I think one day he'll be in the same line as like a Drew Tate or Travis Louis, a very good young QB in the league. I think it's the best thing to happen for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, because this week, this is huge for Winnipeg, because if they go 0-4, not saying their season's over, because obviously the BC Lions started last year 1-6, but like this team has not been competitive in any game this year. I mean, they're getting up 34 points a game. I mean, this defense is not the same defense from a year ago, and the Swaggerville, well, where's the swagger? Because it has left town. And I just look at this team, man. This team, this week is huge. If they don't win this week, man, I don't see how this team won a few games this year, but I just don't see this team winning, very many games this year. And if they lose again, it's gonna start to get pretty ugly in the peg. And on the other side, you have a Toronto Argonauts team who I'm starting to really, really like. I mean, this is a team who last week against the Ticats, got down early, down 21 points, early in the second quarter, but stuck to the game plan. Kept running the ball with Boyd, kept doing a few passes with Ray, and just ran the ball, and cut that lead down to 2 points at one point. Ticats had to really come back in that game to get that win. But Toronto Argonauts right now are turning to a really good team. Are they a Grey Cup contender? Probably not. But are they going in that direction? You're damn right they are. I really like the Argonauts going forward, and I really think this week Toronto Argonauts home, where they beat the Stamps last time at home. I really think they leave a whooping on Winnipeg, and I think Alex Brink will play good, but I just think Ricky Ray will show the veteran he is, and Corey Boyd will play good. And I think Toronto Argonauts are just a better team than the Blue Bombers, and they beat the Blue Bombers by 2 scores. All right, our next matchup, the undefeated Saskatchewan Roughriders. Who thought you'd be saying that going to Week 4? Taking on the Calgary Stampeders, who the sky is falling. Calgary, we'll get that in a minute. But Saskatchewan, what more can you say about Saskatchewan? I mean, they got swagger. We talk about Winnipeg, Swaggerville. It's in Saskatchewan right now because Durant's playing well, giving it to Dressler and Getzlap. Corey Sheets is a beast. And this defense, man, doesn't give any big plays and is probably a top-notch defense right now. And with that big game last week, I didn't think they could do it. I thought they'd be close against the BC Lions, but I didn't think they could beat the BC Lions because BC is just that great. But give all the credit in the world to them. They did it. And I'm starting to think now, maybe Saskatchewan, this might sound crazy, but the way that Durant's playing, the way that they're well coached, the way their defense just flies to guys and doesn't give any big plays. Nothing is too big for this team. They might be the best team in the West right now. Now, do I think the Lions are still a better team? Yes, I still think the Lions are a better team. But with the way that Edmonton hasn't really played good this year, how Calgary's struggling a little bit now. And with them being BC, they have the confidence they maybe beat BC. But I just think, this might sound crazy, but the Rough Riders right now might be the best team in the CFL. Hey, they might be the best team in the CFL right now. And who thought we'd be saying that 4 weeks ago? I know I didn't think I'd be saying that. But on the other side, you have a Stampeders team who found out last week that their leader, their starting quarterback, Drew Tate, most likely out for the year as he opts for surgery on his shoulder that he hurt a couple weeks ago. I mean, it's quite the blow to the Stampeders. I mean, I'm a big Drew Tate fan. I love Drew Tate. I think he's a great quarterback. And going forward, you have to lean on Kevin Glenn because that's your only option right now because your other two guys with no CFL experience, you know, I expect a veteran guy to bring in there. I don't know really who, but I expect a veteran to be brought into Calgary to help with Kevin Glenn because Kevin Glenn, as he showed last week, you know, he played really good for 3 quarters. Then the 4th quarter, he showed us what Kevin Glenn is. Not a clutch quarterback. Is throwing that pick late that just sealed the loss for the Stampeders against the Alouettes. I mean, they're going to have to run the ball now because that's their only option. You know, Kevin Glenn's going to have to hold down the fort now for the year because that's their only option right now and run the ball. And I'm just saying, man, this might be a bigger obstacle than people think. I mean, I'm just not a big Kevin Glenn fan, and I don't think he can do it. And I just think the sky might be falling in Calgary, and I hate to say this, but the season might be over in Cowtown. But that's why this week I like the Rough Riders to keep this train rolling. And I think they'll win this game this week. I think it'll be a close game. You know, because every Rough Rider game is pretty much close. Except the one game against the Cats. I expect it to be a close game, and I set the Rough Riders to win this by a touchdown late. By Corey Sheets, because he is a beast. Our next match of the week, the Edmonton Eskimos traveling out to BC. Should be a good one. Last week, you know, Edmonton, I guess they're playing Winnipeg. Winnipeg, probably the worst team in the league, but still, like, that offense showed that, hey, Steven Giles showed that he put more than 1 point on the board, and I gave him a lot of slack a week ago. But Steven Giles last week played a pretty good game. Not a great game, not an unbelievable game, but he played a pretty good game last week. And I just think if Steven Giles plays this way, and they can run the ball, and their defense, which is a great defense, maybe a top defense in the league right now, the 17 will be okay. And with Calgary, we talked earlier with Drew Tate going down, it's going to help the Eskimos in the West. And I just think, you know, I like Steven Giles. I think he's a very good QB. I think he got thrown on the bus a little too early last week. But I like Steven Giles. And he's going to a tough place to play because he's playing the BC Lions, who tasted defeat for the first time in, like, I don't know, seems like 5 years. And I can't remember the last time the BC Lions lost. I think it was like October. Crazy streak by the BC Lions. I mean, but they taste loss, so I think it's good for them because it gets a little more hungry now. You know, Trapezoid is a great quarterback, but is he having a great season? Not really. He's had an all-right season so far, but nothing too special. And I think this will really get the fire under them, put a little fire in their ass again. I really like how they lost last week. You know, even in their loss, though, they still went fighting to the end, did not play well at all during the game, but still were in this game to the very end. And I just think this week, I think BC Lions are going to be a pissed-off group. And I like Steven Giles, I like the Edmonton Eskimos, but I think the BC Lions are going to be just too much for Edmonton, and I think they want to leave a statement in this game. And I really think the BC Lions win this game by 3 scores. And our last game of the week, oh, this should be a good one. The Montreal Alouettes traveling out to the Hammer, take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Right now, I know it's early, but these two clearly look like to be the best 2 teams in the East right now, and it should be a great, great game in Ivor Stadium. We'll start with the Alouettes. Last week, you know, not to say they were lucky to win that game, but a lot of things went their way in the 4th quarter. And I think it was more they lost that game because of Stampeders' mistakes than the Montreal not making mistakes. I mean, I just think Stampeders made 2 mistakes down the stretch against the Alouettes. And the Alouettes are still a very coached team. Trustman's probably the best coach in the league still. Like, who else? I don't know we can really compare him to. I mean, Anthony Calvillo is still top QB in this league. You know, Whitner, you know, didn't have a great game. Obviously, he has -3 on the ground, but still a great running back. Jamal Richardson, the center for like years, the best receiver in the CFL right now. And I think the Alouettes, this is a big game for the Alouettes, which you don't really hear that much, you know, week 4 of a CFL season for the Alouettes, just because They got last year against Hamilton. They got their ass beat. They got punched in the mouth at home against Tiger Cats, where they never lose at home in the playoffs. And I think they really want to leave a statement in Hamilton to say, you know what, there's no change in the guard yet. We're still here. We're still the beat. We're still the beast of the East. And they can do this this week because they're playing a Hamilton Tiger Cat team who first 2 week season looked all right. Didn't look as awful as people are saying. But last week, it came down. People want their coach fired. Players saying they're being worked too hard, and all that crap. And they put up what they do, put their best performance of the season, put 36 points again up on the board with 70 points their last 2 games. I mean, what a performance last week. Chris Williams, what a beast. 3 touchdowns. I mean, a punt return, a missed field goal for 119 yards, Tiger Cat record. And another, and a receiving touchdown as well. I mean, Chris Williams is slow return to one of the best receivers in the league. And you got Walker, who didn't have a great game last week, but still, like Walker, every time I think this guy touches the ball is going to score. That's how explosive this guy is. And Henry Burris showed last week when they got down in the third quarter, when they weren't really doing much early in the fourth quarter, they weren't really doing much. Their offense was sputtering. He showed that, hey, he can still run. He can still plays, not with his arm, but still with his legs. And I think Henry Burris is finally clicking in this offense. And as soon as this offense clicks, watch out, because they're going to take off and be one of the best teams in the league. And I think and again, I think this week's, I know Montreal wants something to prove, but I just think the Hamilton Tiger Cats, I think it's their time. I believe the Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to the Grey Cup. And I believe the Hamilton Tiger Cats beat the Alouettes. Late field goal, I think second field goal. It's going to be a tight game, well-played game. Probably the best game of the week, but I believe the Hamilton Tiger Cats are maybe just that much better than the Alouettes right now, and beat them in a late field goal and beat the Alouettes. All right, so to recap, I like the Argonauts to beat the Bombers. I like the Rough Riders to go into Calgary and stay undefeated and beat the Stampeders. I like the BC Lions to leave a statement all over the Eskimos, and I love the Hamilton Tiger Cats to win a tight, well-played, close game and beat the Alouettes. Week 4 should be good because these are good matchups. I can't wait for this Montreal Tiger Cat game because it's going to be a good game. But till next week, I'm Air Ducks for saying I'm Ducks and I know sports, kind of.